From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, March 4th, 2016. Silver is trading at $15.23 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,262 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $424. Antiwar.com reports after 5 years of civil war, Syria is experiencing a temporary return to normalcy, with a ceasefire now in its 5th day and still holding steady. There is a lot of negativity about the chances of making a peace deal, but everyone is enjoying the dramatic reduction in violence the ceasefire has provided. Everyone, except the rebels, that is. Having resisted international efforts to broker a settlement of the war, many rebel factions were dragged kicking and screaming by the international community into this truce, insisting all the while it would not work. The rebels, who were blasting the U.S. for betraying them by supporting a doomed ceasefire last week, are now blasting the U.S. for betraying them by supporting a ceasefire which is working and is heading towards some settlement short of installing them as the new government. Rebels now say they're convinced the U.S., Russia, and the Assad government are all plotting against them, and after previously making their participation in peace talks conditional on a ceasefire, they are hunting for a new excuse to keep the war going. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports President Barack Obama on Thursday announced that his signature healthcare law has signed up 20 million Americans since its inception 6 years ago. Obama traveled to Milwaukee on Thursday to commemorate the city's improved health record. Milwaukee beat 19 other major U.S. cities in a nationwide initiative called the Healthy Communities Challenge by enrolling more than 38,000 people in health coverage under the president's program. The competition was intended to see which city could sign up the most people during the most recent ACA enrollment period. Obama said, "Today, I can announce that thanks to the law, 20 million more Americans now know the security of health insurance. 20 million people. That includes 6 million young people who were less likely to be insured before the ACA." Obama added, "In America, health care is not a privilege reserved for the few, but it should be a right." The White House stated on its website that more than 90% of Americans now have health coverage for the first time in American history. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports former U.S. presidential candidate Mitt Romney attacked 2016 Republican frontrunner Donald Trump as a fraud on Thursday and urged primary voters to keep the outspoken New York billionaire from getting the nomination, paving the way for possible horse trading at a party convention in July. In an unusually harsh speech, party elder Mitt Romney warned that former reality TV star Donald Trump would likely lose to possible Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton in the November 8th election if he becomes the Republican nominee. Romney, who did not endorse any candidate, said, "Here's what I know. Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. I would vote for Marco Rubio in Florida, for John Kasich in Ohio, and for Ted Cruz, or whichever one of the other two contenders has the best chance of beating Trump in a given state." By calling for targeted voting, Romney was setting up the possibility of a contested convention when Republicans gather in Cleveland in mid-July to select their nominee for the November election. That could create a pathway to deny Trump the 1,237 delegates needed for the nomination. Former Romney spokesman Ryan Williams said, "I think the governor is just being realistic about where things stand and advocating a potential strategy that could stop the Trump nomination." The last Republican convention to go beyond one ballot was in 1948 when Thomas Dewey was the nominee. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.